I have been playing Go Medieval since 1.0 release for a month, which accumulates to about 80 hours plus, and it is time for another episode of Molethoughts. Now, do you know this problem sometimes when you are playing a game which really does a lot of things right, and you think, you know what, this is something you have been looking for, you really enjoy your time, but then there are so many small issues that it slowly chips away of the fun you could have with this game. And that is my problem with Go Medieval. So let's talk about it. Go Medieval is a colony sim, right? If you have played RimWorld or some of the other colony sims out there, you know exactly what you are getting into. You are starting out with 2 to 3 people in a very bad position, and you have to find food, find shelter, build all those things, and then slowly more and more specialized people will also join your colony, and your colony will grow. You will have blacksmiths, hunters, soldiers, researchers, and so your colony is thriving. And of course, there are also then outside events which will kind of influence how your playthrough is going. And Going Medieval is following this down to a T. Even the interface looks a lot like, okay, they took the idea from RimWorld. And you know what? That's fine. I know people always see this as a negative point of view, like, it's like RimWorld. And I'm like, yeah, why not taking ideas from the genre king right now, right? Like, gaming and game development is iterative, and so people are building on those things. And again, Going Medieval is doing a very good job. But now you might be asking, okay, but what does the game make special? Well, it is the 3D game. And I know what you were thinking. Wait, the graphics? Are we really trying to sell a game about graphics? No, no, no. It's not about the graphics. It's that you are playing in a 3D environment. That means you have the ability to build upwards and to build downwards underground. You have about 6 layers of underground and about 6 layers of going over the ground floor. So, give or take 14 layers you can utilize for building, and that allows you to build massive castles, as you can also see in the background. Will take you quite a while. I am slowly starting to move all my little village stuff into the castle so that it is compact and dense in the castle. And yes, I also have a dungeon there for food, for people, not interchangeable. I'm not going the cannibal route. You can, but I'm not doing that this time. And you are starting to build up your defenses. I often or not got the feeling a little bit of Stronghold, if you have ever played that game. And but just in a colony sim environment, right, where you are building bit by bit your castle, your defenses, you have your soldier under direct control, you don't want to lose them because, well, if they are dead, they are dead. Bad idea. And in general, it is really good at giving you this castle life feeling with some amazing castle defenses. Like, whenever I'm getting attacked, I'm actually kind of getting giddy because I can test out all my new defenses. I can see if things I have been planning are working out, and I can also see what the enemy will do to circumvent that, right? And again, this is what the game does so well, and this is the major selling point. If you have been dreaming about building your own crazy castle defenses and recreating some medieval castle life, then Going Medieval is the game you have been looking for. And yes, there are some shortcomings, like, let's say, the events you are getting are not really that interesting. They're mostly just, hey, there's some animals coming in, there's some bandits coming in, or you have some flooding in the cellar if you are not careful, yada, yada, yada. Like smaller things which are not really interfering too much with your daily life. The same goes with the NPCs slash pawns in your little village, right? They do interact with each other. They can become friends. They can not like each other. But does it really affect anything? No. No, really. This is not RimWorld in taking the social aspects into account. Now, that's just right now with 1.0. The Going Medieval devs have been patching and fixing the game quite a bit. And they have already said they have some bigger plans for the game going forward because apparently it did sell well. So there is more coming. And but again, like the social aspect is definitely rudimentary. There are other factions on the map you can interact with, you can build trust with, and then you can do some trading, you can raid them. It's definitely not a world map like in RimWorld, but this is more like like a smaller area on the map, and you have to deal with the different factions. But it's still nice to have, right? And again, if this would have been the game's premise, if this would have been what the game is exactly giving you, then you wouldn't hear much of a complaint from me, and I would just say, look, you look for colony sim focusing on the medieval aspect with some amazing castle building and defending. Going Medieval is definitely a game you should check out, and I'm still saying exactly that. Now let's talk about the issues. This game has some design decisions and just outright dumb AI where you just think, you know what? I appreciate the pawns more and more in RimWorld the longer I play Going Medieval. And I know that sounds crass, but it is exactly that. Like, too many moments where I didn't understand what my NPCs are doing and I was trying to figure it out. And the first thing the game is already failing at is giving you sometimes some vital information. Like, let's say you have a fight going on and one of your fighters is getting hurt. So you can see that they are hurt, you can see that they are bleeding. Cool, nice. But if you're trying to figure out what exactly happened and you might want to evade that for the next fight, you can't. The game is not giving you that information. The game is just giving you that information that, yeah, three bandits are wailing down on your NPC. And that's it. That's the information. And then I have to discern, was this the strike which cut off his arm? What happened here? Right? Like there is some information I would sometimes love to have. The same goes with building. There is sometimes just moments when I build something where the game is like, you cannot build here. Okay. This is a free area. I have the resources, like I have the people. I built something else here just a minute ago, and now I cannot build here again. What is this? And the game is not explaining, right? Another huge issue is that you also cannot queue commands, right? You can only give the NPCs one command at a time, and you have to wait till they are finished, and then you have to give them the next if you want to manually control them. And I know what you were thinking. Well, Mo, then you have to get the automated process better under control. Yeah, you see, that's actually the biggest problem. If somebody is asking me how NPCs are actually building something and in which order, I cannot tell you. I know that there is definitely an order, like they have a building order, but it is not the building order of what you build first. It is the building order of how important something is. Like walls seem to be super important, so they will always get built first. Then we have the floor and basically everything which makes the um, outer furniture of a house, right? Like that's what they always build first, and then everything else follows. But that also leads sometimes to problems. Or not even that is true. I have walls where they literally brought up resources, put the resources into the wall, and just had to build the wall, and then they just did go off do something else for days. Days. And I'm like, dude, your top priority is building. You are the main builder. Why are you doing something else? Or there was another moment which brings again the problem of which brings up the problem again of queuing orders. I had a cold snap in the winter right? My people were freezing. I already had some heaters, some braziers. The problem was just there were not enough, right? Not for cold snap. So I started to build braziers, right? And they didn't do it because lights seemed to be like the lowest important task, and they didn't do it automatically, so I had to do it manually. And I had to click every single brazier and be like, build this. Okay, let's wait till they got the resources, till they built this. Okay, now let's build the next one. And I had to do that 10 times. And after that, I was fed up. And by the way, the cold snap disappeared afterwards. It's like, no, no, you can't do that. Talking about priorities, I even had moments where your NPCs are completely ignoring priorities. I had a dude who came in, which is also you sometimes see in the priority list that they are not doing anything else. They came in and I made him the main guy for moving stuff around, right? And so I was setting it up. I was setting it to number one, and everything else was like three. And that dude completely ignored that order. He was doing everything else instead of moving items around. And before you say, well, you didn't have anything else to do. Oh, he had a lot to do. This is why I actually got the guy, because I had so much stuff lying around that I needed somebody. So I removed everything else from the list, only gave him the order to pick up stuff, and he finally started doing it. Same goes for convalescing, healing, right? Your characters, when they are set on free time, and even if you're removing the healing from their schedule, they will still go and heal. You have to distinctively tell them, please go work, put in the work schedule instead of a free time schedule. And they're doing everything else in the free time, right? They are normally working. You normally don't have to set a specific forcing work time. For healing, you have to. Because even if you remove that, do not lay down for healing if you are hurt, they will still do it in their free time. And I'm like, what? Dude, I told you not to do it. And you were still doing it. What the heck, man? Right? There's so many things where I'm just. For the amount of not allowing me to control things manually, I have a lot of moments where I would love to control things manually because the AI is not smart enough in this game for those moments, or they are not following their orders, and it's really not great. Another thing, and this is again a very small one, and I hope there will be an option in the game. Maybe there is an option and I've missed it, but you can dismantle every single item by right clicking on it. You don't have to click on an extra button, you just click right click on something and then you dismantle it. The problem is you do the same thing when you want to give a command for something. So I had an attack and you had to manually close the doors. You have to lock them because they stay open normally. And so I had to manually close the gates, and I was right clicking on the gate to give the command. And then I was panicking a little bit. I didn't read. And I basically gave the command to dismantle the gate. And it took a second because dismantling happens immediately. It's an instant thing. And bam, my gate was gone. I was like, no, I had to click on it. I had to go into the interface to lock it. Then I had to do the right click to close the gate. Ah, like, I had so many moments where sometimes by accident deconstructed something or gave the command that it deconstructed something, even if I wanted to click on something. Like, the interface is very convoluted sometimes and not very intuitive. So I know this sounds like like a lot, and there is definitely more, but it is. It's this small things which are just adding up and up and up till I literally had moments where I just thought, I need a break. I was enjoying myself, but after all those things which happened, and they happened because, well, the NPCs didn't do what I told them, and I couldn't really do it manually, I needed a break. And that's very unfortunate. And keep in mind, I am used to playing those games. This is not me bumbling about like an idiot and do not know what I'm doing. I have over 1,000 hours in RimWorld and hundreds of hours in other colony sims. And there were so many moments where I was just not understanding what was going on. And when I was trying to find that information was not necessarily available to me. And up till now, I gave them the benefit of the doubt, right? I was like, okay, this is kind of unacceptable for 1.0 release. Keep in mind, this is not early access anymore. This is 1.0. But let's see what they are fixing very quickly. And after a month, I can say they have been fixing a few things here and there, but the main things I still mentioned are still there. And again, this is 1.0. This is not early access. I don't even know how this slipped through. Maybe the early access wasn't really that successful or whatever. I don't know. But there are too many things which are just, oh, this is such a fun game. Why do we have to suck the fun out of it with those problems? It's really unfortunate. Do I still recommend this game? Yeah, if you can basically overlook everything I just mentioned and you're not going easily crazy or angry about something, sure. But if you have a problem with that, definitely wait and see if they can fix it over time. But with that said, we are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you still have some thoughts or questions, let me know down below in the comments. Always remember though, stay civilized, and also don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and also consider to subscribe if you want to see more strategy building and management games, which is what we are focusing here on the Mole Under Management channel. With that said, have a good one, stay safe, I see you next time.